welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host. My name is Victoria Daisy, and today we are going to be recapping everything that happened last night on AEW Dynamite. But before we dive deeper, don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. But let's dive right into the opening segment, which wasn't even a segment because, to be quite honest with you, I don't even know what I witnessed. I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. But I guess if we go kind of just to what Dynamite opened with, it was literally Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin absolutely going at it. I mean, it was insane. Like, Darby Allin, within 90 seconds of the show being on air, literally whipped out a skateboard with thumbtacks on them. So that was fire. Then the Death Riders came out, Hook came out, and so did the Ops, and everyone was just attacking each other. It was pure madness. It was absolutely insane. And it ended with Darby in a body bag being dragged by a pickup truck that was driven by Gabe Kidd. And so I'm going to assume that this is setting up Darby's first feud back in AEW, possibly with the Death Riders and Gabe Kidd. And it was just pure chaos. There wasn't a promo that led to this. There wasn't literally anything. The second we opened the show, it was just madness. But let's actually talk about some action besides that happened in a real match. We had the TBS Championship on the line. Mercedes Moné defending against Alex Windsor. And this was a really, really fun match. I mean, I like the dynamic between Mercedes and Alex. I think that they work really well together and individually always put on a banger of a match. So the storytelling also was really good here, especially the way the finish happened and leading up to the finish. I did really like that as well. But of course, in the end, our 9 belts Moné took the W. And after the match, Mercedes continued to obliterate Alex Windsor. And then coming out for the save, we had a returning Riho, which, if you're a newer AEW watcher, you might not know who Riho is, but Riho is absolutely iconic. She hasn't been around in a while. I'm not too sure why. But she is so entertaining, such a firecracker in the ring. She's tiny but mighty, and I'm so glad that we have her back. And it was actually announced after this that at AEW All Out, Mercedes Moné will be defending her TBS championship against Riho, and I am so excited. I think that match is going to be so good. Really curious to see how the two of them work together in the ring, but I'm so glad that she's back. It was an awesome return. She got a nice pop, and I was super excited. Then we had a Mark Briscoe segment. So he came out to talk about how his new focus is on Kyle Fletcher and the TNT Championship. And to get to him, he has to talk to Don Callis. So, of course, Don Callis came out and he said that he does not have time for Mark and his game. So, he's going to have to get through the rest of the Don Callis family before he can even think about putting his hands on Kyle Fletcher. So, he told him that will all begin this Saturday at Collision when he will take on Konosuke Takeshita. But Mark said that was not enough. Konosuke came out, they had it face to face, but when Mark kind of put his foot down that he wanted more, Don Callis said, okay, I'll give you more. And Lance Archer stepped up to the plate. They had a stare off. A ref ran in the ring, and that was the next match of the night. We had Mark Briscoe versus Lance Archer. Now, this was honestly a really crazy match. I mean, there were so many hard-hitting moments, and the athleticism was really good, and it all led to just really awesome spots and moments that made this match all that it was. And I love the continuous storyline the continuous storytelling that they're telling here with this match. I really like it, and I'm curious to see where we go moving forward with Mark Briscoe and the Don Callis family. I'm curious to see his match against Konosuke Takeshita. I'm sorry, I really try and sound professional when I say it all in one shot, but it's a bit of a tongue twister, I will say. Try saying it 3 times fast. I won't, but try. But in the end, Mark Briscoe did take the W, and now he continues to prove his credibility. So hopefully he can run through the entire Don Callis family and end up making his way to a match against Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. Maybe, just maybe, that could be at All Out. We do have a lot of shows left still until All Out between Dynamite and Collision, so I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it would be really fun to see. Then we had an AEW Tag Team Championship match, Brodito defending against the Death Riders. Now, this was a really fun match. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Brodito, and getting to see them together in action was awesome. And also, getting to see them beat the ever-loving crap out of Wheeler Yuta brought so much joy to my life. It was so majestic. I loved it. And of course, in the end, Brodito did retain. Then we had an Adam Copeland and Christian Cage segment. Now, I was very let down by this segment. I was expecting a lot more over the last couple of weeks. We've gotten really good segments and promos between the two of them in this storyline. And so I was really expecting the same thing. And we definitely did not get that. So Copeland came out, and right as he entered the ring, FTR came from behind to attack him immediately. And then Christian Cage came out for the save, and truly it was a brawl. I mean, it got very hostile to the point where half of the locker room had to come out and separate them because there is that much bad blood. And again, I was hoping to get a promo in this segment from one of them, but nobody touched a mic, nobody did nothing, and that was it. It was a really short segment, and I was just really disappointed because that really did feel like a bit of a bump in the road for this storyline, because I feel like they've been doing so well, building it up so much, getting us so excited for All Out, and then for what? You know what I mean? Like, we're only a couple weeks away, and then why are we having, this type of a segment? I don't know. I wasn't too happy with it, but curious to see what next week is going to look like, since obviously the bad blood just keeps getting badder. But let's move on to the next match. We had the main event, an all-star 8-man tag. We had Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Jet Speed versus Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and the Young Bucks. Now, this was an insane match. I loved all the spots and insane moments that, again, made this match all that it was. And towards the end, we actually had a moment where the original Elite were in the ring, the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, and Kenny Omega. I was gagged to the 10th floor. I actually couldn't believe that I was staring at it. And of course, the crowd was going crazy, and it was a goosebump-worthy moment, to be so for real with you guys. And this was just the perfect match to put on the main event slot, because truly it deserved it, and it was just so good. But in the end, Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and the Young Bucks did take the W. And after their match, they continued to go absolutely berserk. I mean, people were getting put through tables. They were acting like wild animals. It was crazy, and a great way to end Dynamite. Now, let's head into my overall thoughts. So I thought it was a pretty solid show. I will say that the opening segment, the Adam Copeland segment, and the ending of this main event were extremely similar, and I didn't want to see a lot of the same thing. And we barely got, the only type of promo we got was the Mark Briscoe segment. That's it. Everything else was just brawl after brawl, body bags being taken by pickup trucks. It was just insane. And while that's really great, I don't want to see that 3 times from, 3 different groups of people, and it all feels the same way. So again, Dynamite is usually always a hit, but last night I felt it was a bit of a miss. I thought that the content was good, but that's just my issue of it felt a little bit repetitive with the whole, let's have half of the locker room come out and just attack everybody and it be like this whole parade. And maybe that's your cup of tea, but I don't want to see the same thing 3 times in a row. Hopefully that makes sense. But my match of the night, hands down, was the main event. Besides the ending, I did think it was a really good match filled with a lot of great content and had me truly on the edge of my seat most of the time. And there wasn't really any segments like I mentioned, so I'm not going to actually have a segment of the night. If I'm forced to pick against my will, I'm going to have to say Mark Briscoe, just because that was the only real promo we got. Overall, I'd rate the show about a 6.5 out of 10, which is Dynamite's lowest ranking in the last couple of months. And I was really hoping for a better Dynamite. But again, we are getting closer and closer to All Out. I'm looking at my calendar right now, and it seems that we have about 2 weeks until All Out, which means we have 4 to 5. Actually, no. We have 4 shows of AEW left. So we have a couple Dynamites and Collisions left. And I'm really curious to see, what we're going to be looking at. We got a lot of card to fill up still. So curious to see what they're going to do over the next couple of weeks as we are heading to AEW All Out. And don't forget to watch AEW All Out, now streaming on HBO Max. You still got to purchase it. There's a bit of a discount though. It's $39.99, which it previously used to be $50 or $60. So, hey, why not take a $10, $20 discount? And that is going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. So they did bump up the time so that it's not necessarily clashing with WWE's WrestlePalooza, which is going to be, I believe, at 7 p.m. So that's really interesting. Hopefully that lets fans be able to watch both. Hopefully if, AEW does like a 5-hour show, it should end right around when WrestlePalooza starts. But at least we get to enjoy both, which is awesome. Also, tomorrow night on SmackDown, hopefully we get the return of AJ Lee. So if we do, I'm going to be making a buttload of content about it. So make sure you're following all the socials, and we'll be back here Saturday afternoon to talk all things Friday Night SmackDown. I believe John Cena and Brock Lesnar will be there alongside AJ Lee and a couple other people. So it should be a really good episode. And this podcast is not one you're going to want to miss on Saturday because it is going to be so good. I am so excited. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Champion the Passion. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.